Hey, it's Shumley, Super Dave. We're here with Synyster Gates, one of the greatest guitar players of our time.
Let's be one of the four. We just figured
we had a Mount Rushmore somewhere. I'm still a little upset that
oh, that's right.
I wasn't on it.
To fill you in, if there was a Mount Rushmore with four of the greatest guitar players of all time, he'd be on it.
There you go.
There we go. There we
Easy.
go. So it's been 5 years. What do you do in the downtime?
Ooh. I could make a fucking really bad dad joke, but I will be somewhat serious. It's the hardest we've ever worked.
Really?
Yeah.
Absolutely. You throw in fucking kids in there, and all things considered, the record was a beast to overcome. Yeah, young kids and COVID and all. It was
wild, right?
It was fucking nuts. It was nuts. So this is a breath of fresh air. This is usually kind of work, and like I was saying, kind of head in the sand, and you're just building and trying to fucking execute perfectly on stage, and you don't have time to really take it in till after. But then you start drinking a lot, and then you forget about it all. Now I have kids to keep me in check, so memory's intact, and head out of the sand. I'm just really excited to be here.
Man, excited to have you. You've never played this venue before, Daytona International
No.
Speedway. Are you a NASCAR fan?
I appreciate NASCAR. I'm watching the older that I get. The more this grows,
Yeah.
the more I'm watching.
The bigger the fandom for NASCAR.
The more I like left turns,
There you go.
Beer bellies, NASCAR, and wrestling, they all go together. It's a very
beautiful.
Florida thing, so
I'm
welcome.
in.
You could be a
Yeah.
Florida man at this
I'm
point.
a Florida man, yeah. And some tax-free stuff and all the good shit.
Yeah, it's nice, man.
I'm good.
So Life is But a Dream, out on the
Truly.
2nd of June. We're, a couple of weeks away? That's exciting.
Yeah, I think 14 days.
Yeah, when you were saying, 5 years, it was a lot of work with this album. How was it different with this album? Was it the kids that made it harder, or just the COVID? Or?
COVID was tough. Writing was tough. The older that you get, the less you just throw yourself into a situation where you just start writing shit. It can't sound the same,
Right.
but you're not Mr. I can fucking do anything. You're getting older. You run out of the goodies at some point, and so finding unique inspiration was big, and then being able to execute, figuring out how to make those sounds a reality. And then kids, when we went into to record drums, I believe in June of 2020, the restrictions had lifted barely, meaning you could get into facilities. So we were at Henson Studios to do drums, and everybody's got masks, and you're taking your measurements. There's only a few people in at a time, and it was really tough to be creative. You see some people walking by, and you're like, oh, it's Justin Bieber, and fucking everybody's masked up, and just crazy. But we got it done, and we're just super proud of it. But yeah, it was a lot of work.
The new single, Nobody,
Yeah.
obviously the guitars it's totally different. It's a different sound, it's unique, it's cool. You mentioned just moments ago inspiration. Was there a certain inspiration that inspired these new guitar sounds? It's really different.
Yeah, thank you. Well, not in an exact sort of manner. A lot of it came from experimenting and kind of finding our own sounds and what I call like soundscapes.
Yeah.
But like a lot of hip hop.
Really?
You fucking do
Really?
it. Yeah, if you fucking snort a ton of hip hop and fucking
I
try
usually
to do it with a
shoot
guitar,
that.
main
To each his own.
Next record.
There you
It's
go.
so much smarter. So figuring out the different soundscapes and how that applies to our DNA, so we don't sound like we're writing a Kanye record or anything
Thank
else.
God.
I didn't expect this answer, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, to us, it's always, this is the most guitar-centric record, by far. It's all
Cool.
fucking guitar, and it's all fucking crazy. But we really wanted to not just like go into a fucking bridge where you get into some clean or fucking halftime shit, or just bring the chorus back in a different way. It was like, how the fuck do we make these soundscapes, these riffs, these things that will sound like Avenged, but how do we make them fresh? And how do you hear guitar like for the first time? For guys who've been playing guitar their whole entire lives, how can we have them hear it for the very first time with brand new ears or eyes? And that was because I plugged into a fucking amp. I tried it a couple of times, and fucking stale Metallica riffs, stale old Avenged riffs, stale old Pantera riffs. Like I was done with it.
Yeah.
The band was done, so we had to go somewhere else. And Kanye had us over for a sleepover, and after a few pillow fights, we were fucking writing "Life Is But a Dream."
He's a fun guy to hang out with,
Yeah.
I would imagine. So you don't get to be on the Mount Rushmore of guitar players without a ton of practice, right? So what does your day look like? Do you just wake up with a guitar?
My trick is that I'm head of the committee, so I can put whoever the fuck I want on
He
that.
chooses it right off the bat.
That's right.
Right off the bat.
Yeah, no, I'm certainly not officially, in not my mind, on the face of Mount Rushmore. But what I would consider the best guitar players to have accomplished is beyond playing solo guitar. You know, I'm more impressed when somebody that can do as crazy shit as you've ever heard write a song like Nuno Betancourt, Extreme. You know, more than words. Like, you kidding me? He can do that too. Like, that fucking touches my soul.
Yeah, right.
And so,
Sure.
so that's what I try to provide. I try to write, I try to produce, I try to orchestrate, and our entire band thinks like a multi-hyphenate and that sort of thing. It's like, how many different dimensions can we bring to the table? So we're just
Very cool.
not, okay, he always does that. That's our one-trick pony guy over there that does that. One-trick pony guy over there. It gets stale after a while.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time to talk with us today.
My
Life
pleasure.
is But a Dream, June 2nd, Avenged Sevenfold. Welcome to Rockville. It's been 5 years. We're excited.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah,
Have a
thanks
good
for
night.
having us today. Cheers.
Absolutely. Cheers.